Hey fam, today I'll be analyzing the altcoin market. I'll do this by charting Total2, which is the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. Sentiment on altcoins is quite bad at the moment. A lot of people are thinking that the bull run is over. Personally, I think everything is still intact and that price is just within the range. Having said that though, let's look at the charts and see if we can find these ranges. So to kick it off, I'm going to start on the yearly chart and work my way down with time frame. First thing I'll do though is mark out the yearly open. Once we're above this, we can say that it's bullish and that we're going to go up. But until then, we're basically just eating liquidity from this 2024 candle. Other than that, I'd say price is stuck within 2021's range. I'm not going to mark this out just yet, though. I'd like to see this broken down and how it's playing out on the quarterly. I'm going to skip the 6 month, to be honest, and go straight to the quarterly. This is where I like to find most of my ranges. You get a better feel of how the market is with this. I'm going to look closer into that 2021's area to see if I can find that one candle where price is stuck in. For that, I like to pick the candle as far back as I can. If I'm looking at this, I'd say that this April 2021's candle is where price is stuck. The reason for that is because if I go to the top, you can see that we've never closed above it. Yes, we've wicked, but then prices come back down and pretty much stayed stuck in this candle. For the bottom here, how price is reacting is that we've done a deviation and then gone back to range top and closed below. From here, what I want to see is how does the midpoint react? In terms of your ranges, there's always going to be choppiness in the mid range, and the mid range has to be respected. I use this to tell whether my range is correct or not. So for that, we'll just draw a fib top to bottom. And then for the reaction, we're going to have to go down to the lower time frame. I'm not going to go down just yet, though. We'll look at this quarterly in a bit more detail. So I'm going to draw out this 50% mark, then the 75 and the 25 as well. Another thing to do is color coordinate your lines to your timeframes. So you'd notice that I did my yearly line in blue and my quarterly line in the orange. This way, when you do go down to your lower timeframes and you've got all these lines, you know exactly what they are. So, for example, my mid range is this checkered line. Anytime I see that, I know that's the 50% mark. And being orange, I know that's a quarterly 50%. So the higher the time frame, the more stronger that line is. So I expect a lot of choppiness around here. Whereas if I went down to like a daily line and I had a mid range on that, this quarterly line would hold a lot more weight rather than that daily. I hope that makes sense here. All right. So other than that, the other thing I'm looking at is at this stage, do we see any order blocks? So order blocks being the last candle to shift the market the opposite way. You can see that there's this right here. So it's the last up candle before the market went down. And then we had a little bit of resistance there. I'm not going to mark out my order blocks just yet. I'm just seeing how they react. Um, and also just what inefficiencies there are. So you can see all the inefficiencies being eaten up. There was this one here, but then this is we came down to that. So that inefficiency is gone. They also call them fair value gaps as well. So in general, I'm pretty happy with this quarterly range. I'm going to now move down into the monthly and just see how the mid range is being respected. You can see how our quarterly range is getting played out in a lot more detail now. So when I was talking about choppiness at the mid range, basically what you want is you want to see when price hits bottom, how does it react at the mid range before it goes up? So once we created this bottom, you can see that we go to the 75% mark and then we find support at the 50%. We then go straight up, close slightly above, but then the next candle can't hold support. So we come back down and then we have this choppiness at the mid range right there. And then you can see we even retest it once we lose it right here. So we lose it, retest it again, and then come back down. Creates this deviation. Then we go straight back up to the mid range to the 75% mark. Then we get choppiness down to the 25%. And pretty much once we break, I'd say once we break this trend here, we shoot straight back up. So in terms of where we are right now, we've just wicked into this 50% mark. I know the monthly hasn't closed, but it's still early. We're only 1 week in. I wouldn't be panicking at this stage. We're just playing this range bound environment. And the other thing you have to look at is what's market structure like. So if we look at market structure, it's still bullish. Look at that. Yeah, we've come back down, but invalidation's right there. Invalidation is basically this order block on the monthly. So I'm scrambling around looking for where this box is. So if I was to do that, that's invalidation. And what we've done, we've just come back down and tapped it. Personally, I don't think there's any reason to be bearish right now. I mean, yeah, in terms of course, I want to see price go up. Of course, I want us to be above here, but the market's going to do what it's going to do. It's not going to do what we want it to do, right? We were within this candle right here. And then basically what we've done is we ate up all this inefficiency going down there, tapped this order block, and then now we've got that bounce. There's still a long time left for this month. We've still got 3 weeks to go. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen in that sense. The only other thing I'm going to do is at this stage is mark out this trend line. Trend lines can be a bit tricky because you can put it there, you can put it there, you can put it there, and it really just depends. Like I just use trend line basically for a little bit of extra confirmation. I'm not the sort of person that reads trend lines religiously. Um, I prefer reading charts horizontally, to be honest, and then using trend line just to add a bit of spice to it, so to say. You could probably run it from there too, actually. Yeah, that would be a bit better, just for now, anyway. I know a lot of people read charts going like that too, like as in just read the trend completely horizontally. I do that sometimes as well. Like I mix it up, to be honest. If I'm going to do that though, I'd probably use like a channel and get like a fib happening sideways, something like that. Actually, doesn't look too bad. And same principle, right? In terms of when you're doing this, you want to see what your mid range is like. So is that being respected in that sense? So you could see like I'd say like that's around the mid range there. It's resistance there, it's support there. So it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look 100% accurate though. Maybe if I drop it down to here, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I'm just gonna leave that on for now, just to see how we look like on the weekly. So other than that, what am I seeing? You still got this order block here, which happens to be very close to the yearly open. Yeah, let's go down and see what else we got. Dropping this down to the weekly, I just want to point out one thing. In terms of just where this wick is, if you look, it's at the mid range of this quarterly range. It's at the bottom of this order block where invalidation is, and also it's at the bottom of this parallel range that I've got going as well. So, in terms of that, I'd say there's a lot of support here, and I'd be very surprised if we did something like this. The only reason I say that is because you've got gold going up, you've got the US dollar that looks like it's going to go down. I'm truly a believer that Bitcoin's going to pump up and altcoins are going to follow. So to me, I'm not bearish in any way. I'll be honest with you, and a lot of it has to do with just basics of just what does market structure look like. You know, what's wrong with that? Say we did this. What's wrong with that? I mean, don't pay attention to time frame down here. I'm just drawing out, yeah. But bullish market structures holding, this would just be a play of one, this parallel channel, and also just a play of this actual range, this quarterly range here. Um, and if I was to then draw a fib and just see what my extensions are like, because I'm going to sound like a bit of a bull tart here. Yeah, there you go. We'd find some sort of resistance at this mid range right there, and then aim for the next set of the 200%. And if we got a legit bull run, furthermore. So in terms of what I'm hoping to see, and I'm say hoping to see, it's because I'm not a fortune teller. No one knows what's going to happen. But in terms of what I'm hoping to see, is something like this. I want to see a break in market structure. I do expect this wick to get filled out to some extent, maybe even completely, who knows. So if we saw something like this from here, say something like that, and we come to retest the yearly open, I'm down for that. And that would be basically a retest of this here. So the last down candles going down, we retest the top of that, which creates a little bit of a deviation there. We could even not take that out. We could do something like, let's say something like that, where we just retest this mid range and find support at it. I do hope we do find support at this mid range or at least these order blocks here. But like I was saying in the weekly, if we fill this out closed above, yeah, I don't mind. As long as market structure breaks from this downside. Because right now, we've got this happening. We've got that happening. And what I don't want to see is, I'm just going to delete this one. What I don't want to see is continuation of it. So basically something like, something like that, for example, a continuation of that market structure. We got to break it in order to go back above. So for now, I'm not selling nothing. I'm just sitting on my hands. I want to see a break in the market structure, and then I'll start taking some leverage plays too. Times like this, honestly, I'm just going to chill out, play Street Fighter, um, and spend my time wisely. But all eyes on the market, right? So even when I am playing games and stuff like that, I've still got a tablet with the charts next to me. Don't lose focus. Don't lose hope. Let the market do its thing. Pay attention to gold. Pay attention to the US dollar, the Dixie chart. Pay attention to the S&P 500. See what Bitcoin's doing and see what altcoins are doing. I hope you find this helpful and I hope this gives you some clarity. Again, it is my opinion. The market's going to do what it's going to do. Keep your eyes open and don't lose focus. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate your support.